Welcome to episode 3 of Wigless and Crying. My name is Adrian Anchondo, and I'm here with JC Lee and Joshua Allen. Last week we had a great conversation about California gays and how they're handling the drought, the Religious Freedom Act, which led to a very heated conversation about racism in our community. We also talked a lot about shade, and the shade continues this week. We have a week full of topic suggestions from our listeners. If this is your first time listening, you should probably know that we will be drinking throughout the podcast. So, guys, I was told by a very dear friend of ours that I sound very gringo on the podcast.
Ay, gringuito.
What does that mean? Because this is American.
That's a non-Latino person.
I'm basically too white.
How does that make
Ese
you feel?
güero.
How does that make you feel?
One of us has to sound coherent during this podcast.
So white is coherent.
Whiteness
coherent. Equals coherent.
Interesting.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
It's good. We're unearthing the self-loathing.
okay.
We're unearthing the minority self-loathing on
Whiteness
and crime.
equals coherent.
No, it's because you guys just sound very drunk. I have to be a little articulate.
We are drunk.
I don't. The only one who sounds drunk is JC.
Because I'm drunk.
Because he's drunk.
I'm actually the only person who's fulfilling the mission statement.
Right. He's committing to the given circumstances.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how originally we were supposed to take a shot after every topic?
Which I advocated continuing to do.
Well, you can still do it if you want.
I have.
We had great conversations last week. It got really dramatic.
We really did. We went in. Yeah. But you know what I love about us?
No, Josh, tell us what you love about us.
What I really love about us is that when we go in, there still is this humor on top of it that allows people to go with it. So that you're not driving in your car listening to us. You're not going, oh, this is too, What's on Hot 92 Jams? You know what I mean? Like, no one's doing that.
But what is on Hot 92 Jams? I love it. Truffle butter?
Do you know what truffle butter? Can you please tell people what truffle butter is?
I don't actually know.
What?
It's a mixture of like ass, pussy.
I just want people to know that the views of Wigless and Crying do not necessarily coincide with the views of
Josh.
Yeah,
but they do.
Truffle butter?
Oh, she doesn't understand it now.
No.
Suddenly she's this.
No, I can't afford Whole Foods.
I actually don't like actual truffle butter. I think it smells like bad breath.
We are getting
someone is going to have to define this key term for me.
Truffle butter is when you fuck a butthole.
A girl's butthole.
It doesn't have to be a girl's butthole. It
specifically has to be a woman's.
Oh, it does have to be a girl's butthole. Yeah, it does. Because it's a mixture that happens. So you're fucking a butthole.
2 minutes in.
You pull out of the butthole and then you fuck the vagina. And then the residue on the penis from the butthole and the vagina.
The girl is supposed to...
No.
But that residue...
I don't know. I'm Gold Star. I don't know.
That residue is truffle butter.
Yeah, but basically the song is like
That's really problematic.
How guys like to fuck an ass and then fuck a pussy. It's not...
Do guys like to do that?
Well, we'll put a question out to our straight listener.
No, can we please get to topic number 1? Because I'm about to see my lunch again after that.
Yeah, she's so sick from truffle butter.
Just kidding. I don't eat lunch.
Yeah. Also, just read her Grindr profile. Her Grindr profile name is Truffle Butter Pig. Because pigs find truffles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna shake the
Oh, did you see that shade?
Did you see?
Yeah. This oak tree over here to my left.
We're gonna shake the wig and pick the first topic.
I've never been called an oak tree before.
Yeah, get into it.
It doesn't ready.
Well, maybe go to 24-hour fitness and you'll stop being called an oak tree.
Wow.
Okay, I'm shaking the wig. Britney and Iggy Azealia are coming out with a single. What was your favorite Britney moment?
Like of all time? Because I have so many.
I know. I mean, it's hard to, I think, argue with her initial explosion onto the scene.
Baby,
and Hit Me Baby
one more time.
That, like, Catholic schoolgirl look is so
honey.
Iconic.
I mean, gag on it today.
Yeah, I do sometimes.
16 years later.
Yeah.
16 years later.
Sometimes
we're still gagging.
Just put my mouth on the computer screen and I lick it up.
I mean, it was iconic.
It's so good. And the song is so good. I mean, that was
good.
like... That was
still so good.
It's still so good. My favorite Britney moment is one of her lowest moments. Is that okay?
The umbrella?
No.
Oh.
VMAs Give me more.
Yes, iconic.
I mean,
I remember
that was like
where
the peak of Fat Britney.
Yeah.
And
It was Fat Britney at her greatest.
at her, just like she was completely out of fucks to give, like completely out.
Yeah.
Like she was on their meds, she was fat,
And nobody
like,
wanted to give her fucks
no, not anyone. The way she like slinked around that stage,
Yes.
and
Her hair
She looked
like,
exactly like me at Mickey's on a Thursday night. That's
fair.
exactly
I've
how
seen
I
them.
look.
Her hair
Yep.
reminded
so
me
sad.
of. You remember how Angelica from Rugrats had that little doll?
100%.
Who's Malibu Stacy?
Yeah, Malibu Stacy.
She looked like Malibu Stacy on
Yeah.
that stage.
100%.
I think that
you
they
can
were
see
like-
her backup dancers like, we don't.
I know.
They
They were literally
We're
passing
really
her
sorry.
around like, the less I hold her,
I don't want to deal with her.
the better we
It
are.
was like the bad casserole that they're passing around the table.
Everybody just keeps passing it.
Casserole.
Oh, can you pass that?
But like,
there?
no one's taking any. It just
No
keeps
one
going
wants
around the
any.
table.
It's like you made that dish, you brought it to the potluck, and everyone's like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's another potato mayonnaise thing.
Oh.
She is kind of a potato mayonnaise thing. I mean, in that number, she's a bit of a potato mayonnaise thing, right? And it's great that she
It's like been
recovered from
sitting
that.
out though. Like the
Yeah, in
potato
the
mayonnaise
sun.
thing's been sitting
Yeah,
out, so it's already dangerous.
Like we thought we were leaving 30 minutes earlier than we did,
Right.
so we left it in the
right,
car.
so it's just been sitting in the car.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna make someone unhappy.
Someone's gonna be really ill.
Yeah, I
yeah.
knew I should have made asparagus.
Yeah.
But I made this potato
Why didn't I
mayonnaise
just do
thing.
Brussels sprouts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's upsetting. It's sad. But I think I feel like that's like one of the greatest cultural moments in like pop culture.
It's
history.
watershed. Watershed.
I remember like where I was when OJ got off.
Yep.
I remember where I was
Juice is loose. Yep.
when 9/11 happened, and then
Yep.
I remember Give Me More.
Yep.
I think that's
in that
it.
order.
Is that
Those
chronologically
are the three
correct?
biggest historical events of our lives.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of all I
pretty much
remember about it. Now, you brought up Iggy Azalea at the beginning of this.
Yes.
Why did you preface it that way? What do you think is important about the fact that that's happening?
I think that the interesting thing about this topic is it's more about the evolution of Britney Spears, where she came from to where she is now.
It makes me sad for Britney that like she's like, oh, I gotta team up with Iggy for my next thing.
Yeah.
Like it didn't in a way that it didn't make me sad for J-Lo because I was like, oh, J-Lo got a whole lot going on.
Yeah, and she can kind of
like,
do whatever she wants.
Right. But with Britney, I'm like, you got this one thing.
Oh, interesting. See,
Yeah.
I would have the reverse view. of
No,
that.
she's been out since the Clinton administration.
So why?
And
would
so
she
she's
be
like,
desperate?
here's how I can stay relevant by like picking up someone who's been in the zeitgeist in the last like year or two.
Are we really
and
going to put
aligning-
Iggy Azalea in the same sentence as Zeitgeist? That feels
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm not saying that the culture is correct in accepting.
But
Iggy
do you think
Azalea.
that she's still there?
That was our cat.
That was for sure an actual cat?
Though part of me wishes that was the sound cue that we could just
Yeah,
that was Iggy Azalea.
No, we're gonna actually
Azalea's latest track.
we're gonna actually extract that for a sound cue from now on. That'll just be a sound
So
cue.
Iggy was a guest in the studio.
Yeah.
That's what she sounds like. You know, I remember where I was when someone told me she was white and not a black.
A black.
Black. I'm drunk. Not a black. Black. I remember. I remember my whole
I
world
see you now.
got flipped
I see
upside
you.
down.
I love
What?
it.
What do you mean you see me? Because I said a black? I was confused.
Look, y'all, as a black, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Josh.
You know, we can move on.
Thank you.
So I mean, I understand why you think she was black because she looks like a Wayans brother from White Chicks.
That's exactly the reason. No, I hadn't seen it.
Yeah,
I just
she
heard it on
does
the radio.
sound-
She's
I mean, look,
imitating.
the way she sounds.
She's
She
imitating
she does
a thing.
sound good in her tracks. Like you can't deny that.
She
I mean,
sounds
she may
like
not be
some-
talented
No, not
or
at all.
a good writer. Or
I don't think
a
she's
writer
written
at all,
anything.
but she plays the part well, just like Britney does.
That's true. Maybe that's actually true. Maybe that's like the synergy. Josh,
I don't
gave
know.
disapproving.
There's a shorter distance from Kentwood, Louisiana to the Britney that we see now.
Yeah,
That's a
true.
shorter distance
Agreed.
than from fucking Perth. Where is she from? Somewhere in Australia?
What's Perth?
She's from where the toilet flushed the other way. Azalea's had a rough time of it, y'all. She's just had a rough time of it. She don't know.
Yeah.
She don't know what to do.
She crazy.
She literally has no filter. So like
Yeah.
it's just
But that's what I love about her. She just says crazy shit all the time. I mean, I believe it's funny to talk about her and Azealia Banks in the same sentence because I feel like
they
Azealia
both have
Banks.
Azalea in their name.
This actually might be the first time I actually realize that's true.
You idiot.
And I'm having to, like, process it as I'm speaking. So it's a lot to deal with.
Someone's missing a chromosome, doo-dah,
Yeah.
doo-dah.
Josh asked me earlier
That's
which
actually
part of
Azalea's
me...
next song.
That's Iggy Azalea's new
Someone's
song.
missing a chromosome.
Oh,
Who that? Who that?
yeah.
Gigi, why?
Ow. Yeah. No, we're all Iggy Azalea right now.
It's
This
true.
isn't hard.
Yeah.
This isn't hard at all. We could all just do it now. If T.I. wrote our raps, we'd be fine. So the two of them, it's interesting to talk about them in the same sentence because I feel like Azealia Banks is both good and bad because she has no filter and she is so genuinely what that is. Like, she's not really performing anything.
No.
She is that.
No,
And so
yes.
everything she says, sometimes you're like, oh my god, that's a really brave thing for someone to say because it's brutally honest, and then she'll say things that are like insane. Iggy Azalea is like the exact opposite of that. I think she's a completely put together manufactured thing that to me it's so clear that she's performing because whenever
the TI factory done churned her out.
Like whenever anyone asks her like a real question, it's so clear that the act doesn't support what it is, you know? So it's interesting to think about the two of them.
Because here's my thing. I feel like I think it's not so much cultural appropriation as it because I mean there might be legit people in Australia who fucking listened to Tupac and all those people and got their lives. Of course. But I feel like it boils down to a question of authenticity.
Yeah.
Everybody can smell out when you're faking the funk. And I feel like Iggy is faking the funk. Like, I'll take a white girl who can spit if I feel like, oh, you've lived a little bit of this, you know about this life. But like to come from like wherever you came from, I was like, oh, you had posters on your wall in your bedroom? You had a bedroom? Like I'm a little bit like that.
That's true. Can I ask a question?
There are so many. I mean, there are a lot of rappers now that are growing up pretty privileged, and they're saying that they're the hottest rappers out there right now, and they
such as
through, like Drake. Okay, Drake did not grow up.
But do you know how much heat Drake takes?
Yeah, for that.
In the streets, people is not feeling Drake.
I live on a street.
I didn't understand why people were hating on her because I don't think that the racial politics are the same in wherever she's coming from as they are here.
No,
so
and Eminem didn't catch nearly as much as she caught. I feel like there might be, I'm speaking from total ignorance, there might be an expectation that like if you're an MC, your life has to conform to a certain received narrative that we want out of our MCs. Like we want you to have lived some shit.
Well, because I think that's also because of the history of the form.
Right, exactly. It comes from living this shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's born out of a certain experience.
Exactly.
And so, yes, pop culture assimilates everything that it consumes, you know, but I do think that that's part of it, is that it is of a certain tradition and experience that is built on, like, calling out phoniness and calling out weakness.
100%. That it's built on authenticity.
Yeah, the whole thing is premised on that. So I think that that's important. Can I ask a question, though? And it's related to this Eminem thing. And also, it's related to... Because this puzzles me. So Iggy Azalea has taken a lot of shit for her cultural appropriation, right? Like, a ton of it.
Yeah.
That Uptown Funk song is written by a white guy named Mark Ronson, who put Bruno Mars in his song.
Who put a Filipino
and then,
from Hawaii.
and then put a bunch of older black men in the video to make it seem like it was written by older black men.
I didn't think he did it to make it seem like it was...
I 100% think he did.
I don't. I think that the people, whoever created the video, was just like, this is that feeling that you used to get.
But it's an appropriation. So, like, how come he didn't take shit for it? And, like, do you think that that's
I think
related to gender politics?
I think also there's a historical thing there where, like, the appropriation of that kind of sound has been happening for so long
that it's
like
okay
by now, not that it's okay, it's just like, well, of course. But I feel like I don't know, again, total ignorance. I'm literally talking out of several holes. But I feel like we have way more to go in the evolution of hip hop before
that
we
kind
can
of
just
thing is okay.
or just before it becomes commonplace enough.
Interesting.
That you just... Because, I mean, you can sit here and rattle off 100 white artists who've created music like Uptown Funk, and, like, nobody's really... But I think your point was mostly that, like, they took the black people and put them... in the background of the video
and like
our backup dancers.
Yeah, it's like kind of crazy, that video to me in its appropriation.
Do you think they did that for like legitimacy?
When I first saw that video, I had no idea who wrote the song or like what the song
was Mark Ronson.
Like, and I think that had something to do with if we knew that a white guy wrote that song up front, I don't know if that song would be as popular as it is.
But
that was my point.
So many pop and hip hop songs are written by
I
white
get
people.
that, but
I just feel like to me, I see a video like that and a song like that, and I think it's more of a tribute than it is appropriation.
I don't. Well, that to me
that's a fine line.
That's a fine line. I also think, but my question was going to be to relate it back to this Eminem thing. Do you think that there's a gender issue in this?
Yeah.
Because Eminem
sure.
Now look, and granted, Eminem is talented.
These people don't,
but like they don't.
But like, right? You know how Macklemore is talked about in the streets?
Yeah. So let's go back.
I would love that.
Let's go back to Britney Spears because you're talking about how women are held to a different standard, right? So let's
in every aspect of life.
Yeah,
let's talk about how Britney has been viewed in the spotlight for so long.
That poor child.
Yeah, she's been through a lot. I mean, I feel
like she's not even really a human being.
Well,
maybe she's just seeing what it's like to be a human being right now.
So, case in point, the video for Work Bitch, I think it was. Like, I couldn't even...
The American classic Work Bitch.
Is that the one where, like, she's, like, on an island and they keep shooting her from, like, 30,000 feet in the air?
It's a desert.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You want to
with the pool, and then she's the whip.
Right.
I like that shot.
Right, the pool.
Yeah, the pool.
So, when I saw that video, I said to myself, oh, she dead. The Britney we knew is gone. We got to mourn her. Yeah. Because, like, they got her on so many pills. They're like, she can't even hardly dance no more. Remember when she was a dancer for your life?
I know.
She can't dance no more. They shooting her from, like, cranes up top so you can't see the deadness in her fucking eyes.
She's serving Ariana Grande deadness.
Right. There's no close-ups no more. Like, you're not getting any of that.
It's true.
I don't think she's on the meds anymore.
But
now I think that she's just accepted the fact that she's just not this person that she grew up as, and she knows that she's got 2 kids. Look, she sings songs about going out.
You might say I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
Yeah.
You might say that.
I think still kind of alive but sad.
Exactly. I think that she snapped out of all of that, and now she's like, I'm a mom. I don't go out ever, but I'm singing songs about going out and having sex. I don't think she actually has sex.
I don't think, Adrian, though, that she has that awareness. I feel like the thing that's made Britney Spears so...
I think she knows she's a tool. I think she's like...
I don't think she knows that.
Oh,
I think that she is one. And I think that what's made her iconic is she is emblematic of this thing in pop music where a person has just enough personality to be a person, but can have enough people project onto them their sort of fantasies and desires. And I think that takes a certain kind of personality, and I think that what makes Britney, what's made her so successful in her career is that quality.
I feel like she doesn't have any desire to be Madonna.
So what does 50-year-old Britney look like?
Right now. She looks like...
She's 50 now.
Yeah, I think she's 50 right now. Yeah. I mean, I think she wants to be...
She
wants to be at home with her kids, but she's like, you know what? I still want my mansion, so let me come out with this new single.
She's always going to have her mansion.
Because you cannot be a person, let alone a gay man of a certain age, and not have a whole fucking truckload of love for Britney.
Britney Spears is formative.
Yes. I'm a slave for you.
So good.
That's my
so
favorite.
Good.
Yes,
that's
really
actually
good.
a great
My favorite
video.
music video is of her.
It's so good.
Does I'm a Slave for You predate Christina Aguilera's Dirty?
No.
Doesn't. Dirty came out first?
Dirty came out first.
Do you think that Christina Aguilera broke several lamps when I'm a Slave for You came out and it was a hit? She was Wigless and crying. I bet she was so mad.
Well, she went too far with it.
People were so upset because every time she left the couch, it was an orange stain on there. So, here's my relationship to Britney. When I finally accepted that I liked Britney, because people used to make fun of me.
Gay? Oh.
Yeah. It was like my way of coming out. I got to accept
that was basically coming out. If you were a dude being like, Britney, you were basically coming out.
Yeah.
So,
it's like when Since You've Been Gone comes on at the club and everyone's
woo, baby!
You just can point to the bottoms.
It's over.
The bottoms are on the ceiling.
Okay, so when when Britney and Iggy come out with their single, will you be excited for it?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything Britney does, I'm going to listen to.
Right. That I agree. That doesn't mean I'm excited about it.
Well,
right.
God bless you, Britney.
Britney, if you're listening, how'd you get this?
Thank you. Were you guessed?
Yeah. Are you Vale?
So let's move on to the next topic.
I hate that wig. I hate that wig so much.
I love this question. So Doug Atkins, he wrote in a certain topic, and
We love Doug Atkins.
we love
Thank you, Doug.
Atkins.
I don't know you, but I'm sure if they love you, I love you
She's
also.
the best. We love her. She's the best.
So I'm rewording the topic a little bit. Would you bottom for Hillary Clinton?
Would I bottom for Hillary? Well, I guess behind that is the big question. Bottoming is a metaphor for voting.
Do you
Isn't
support
it?
Hillary Clinton?
Do we support her?
And her strap-on.
Well,
My relationship with Hillary Clinton is very complicated.
I agree. I have
In
I have
2008, in the Democratic primaries, I was living in New York, and I quite literally, in the voting booth, gave half my delegates to Obama and half to Hillary because I just didn't know what to do. I was like, Hillary is clearly, she's like the hawk of the group, which was like super unpopular in early 2008.
Right.
But I also felt a real connection with her candidacy.
Interesting.
Like, I felt it was super mismanaged, as most people did.
What do you think
But-
the connection to her candidacy? I'm drunk. I've been drinking. What do you think?
Watermelon.
What do you think the connection to her candidacy?
Candidacy? Candidacy?
Why do you think she running?
Why you like her?
Why you like her running?
I think right now I'm very nervous for her because I think we're in a time in 2015 into 2016 where like everyone who surrounds her keeps going on TV and being like, no, we swear.
Right.
She's so awesome.
Yeah.
She's like funny and lively and wonderful.
Right.
But if she knows there's a camera in the room, I don't see that.
Agree. I think we're like Democrats. Are you listening? I am worried about a Hillary candidacy for president.
In Iowa, she literally sounded like she called Elizabeth Warren and be like, "What would you say in Iowa right now?" And then just said that.
Yeah.
Like it didn't come across. She has a problem, and I love Hillary Clinton. I've loved her from day one. I've never understood all the like rampant, virulent Hillary hate.
Right.
But when I watch her and I'm pulling for her, I'm like, I don't connect with you.
Here's what I'll say. I don't love her. I think she's a very qualified presidential candidate. Clearly one of the
She's
smartest
a job
people.
applicant that you feel like, oh, I should hire her.
Right.
I'm looking at her resume and she's
Right.
great. And then she comes in for the interview and you're like, oh.
I know. And also, do I want to be in the office with you every day?
Right, that's the difference. Like,
I don't know.
When she emails her resume to the HR manager, you're like, ooh,
Wow.
let me call her in.
Is there anyone better?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
And then she comes in and you're like,
Oh. Yeah.
did I just take an Ambien?
Yeah.
Like, you're a little bit like that.
It's a little... Yeah, I agree. Actually,
I'm a fan of hers, and I'm saying that.
I'm not a fan of hers. But I will say, I think she is an incredibly qualified person for the office. She spent so many years calculating what it takes to be a president that I don't actually know what her instincts are.
I think she's
in the
trying to
office.
extrapolate her 2000 listening tour through the state of New York. She's trying to then now do a 2016 presidential version of that.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, it's been too many years in between, boo.
Yeah.
Like, we done seen you as senator, we done seen you as secretary, we done seen you.
And let me say this.
I love Hillary, and I campaigned for her the first time around.
Okay.
And, I think my biggest problem with her is that she's a little too good as a politician and less of a person.
Okay. Well, we don't share that view.
The great thing about Obama
I
was
know
that
what
he
you
was
mean by
such a good person, and you really believed in everything he said. She sounds scripted.
Because she is scripted.
Look, I know a lot of this, it's a lot about ego.
You have to be insane to run for president.
Because who really wants that job? I mean,
No.
look at what happened to Obama. They want the job because of ego, right?
Yeah.
Mostly.
They're egomaniacs.
Yeah. And
LeBron James makes 20 times what the president of the United States makes.
Look, she has firsthand knowledge of living with the president and how horrible it probably was for him. She obviously has to love the country enough to do this a second time
or love
around.
her ego enough. Let's be honest. I know that we have a sort of affinity for a strong woman, a strong, smart, powerful woman, and I share that affinity. I think she's an incredibly smart, powerful, great woman. Having said that, this whole notion that she should be the de facto Democratic nominee because she's hung around long enough.
I don't think
is
she
insane
should be. I think she is. Who
she
else
is
there?
because of her political maneuvering. She is not because she is necessarily the best person suited for the office.
No,
and
I think it's
problematic.
I think it's ludicrous that that every other Democrat has been waiting around, mainly because of big money, mainly because of donors. They've been waiting around to see what she's going to do. And, like, the idea that her most serious challenge may come from the governor of Maryland. The idea that, like, that is how this is going to shake out. Like, if that happens, Chris Christie, Rand Paul, whoever, like, she could get creamed if no one calls her out. If she just coasts uncontested, she hasn't been in a debate. She's been so afraid over all of the years of making a mistake that she's made tons of mistakes.
That's the best way I've heard of talking about her career.
Yes, that's it. That's all it boils down to.
I mean, let's talk about this, like, email scandal, which, like, everyone can say, like, is a crazy red herring and, like, whatever. Here's the problem with it. The problem with it is it's a self-generated crisis. She didn't have to have this crisis.
Completely agree.
She self-generated the crisis.
And now, did you see it came out that Daryl Issa emailed her and was like, 7 weeks before she resigned as Secretary of State, was like, Daryl Issa, who
we all have
Wigless and Crying has no love for Daryl Issa.
And Daryl Issa is Wigless and Crying.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day of her
Daryl
life.
Issa emailed Hillary Clinton and was like, so we heard, on her government email, was like, so we heard you're using your personal email. Can you follow up with me and figure out what that's all about? She never replied to that email.
Right.
And 7 weeks later, she resigned as Secretary
and
of
that's
State.
the problem. I mean, that's the problem. Is like she self-generates these crises.
That's going to haunt her.
Because
I really don't think it's going to haunt her. You know?
But, like, here's the reason why it's a problem. People on the left take for granted that, like, we should all see the craziness of Republican politics. And we don't all. And, like, frankly, there is something to be said for, like, a sitting Secretary of State who circumvents the system because she's
paranoid. But also, if the head of the Government Oversight Committee in the House emails you, like, that's like him or not, he's a member of the other branch of government.
And that's a problem. Yeah. And, like, look, it confirms everything that people who are anti-Hillary feel about her.
Right.
And that's a problem.
The Hillary haters don't need help, so stop helping them, Hillary.
Stop helping them, Hillary.
She has to tread this very fine line of being powerful and strong and sensitive and relatable to voters that I don't think any other man has had to do before. I think that, look, that moment that we saw her humanity when she cried.
On the eve of the 2008 primary, yes.
I've been there.
People freaked out, thought that she wasn't strong enough, powerful enough, but if
Who
Obama
thought that because it helped her win the New Hampshire primary?
I don't think, but people talked about it in a very negative way.
Haters. She's always going to have those people. What she needs to do is connect with the people who are like, we're on the fence. And, like, that helped her do that. She won that primary.
Also, let's, like, talk specifically to gay people who are listening to this podcast, because I feel like gay people are responding to sort of a powerful woman running for office.
I think you're really making...
You think that's out of line?
Gay people are stupid.
Let me say this. I'm not going to say that gay people are stupid, but I will say that I've run into a number of people who happen to be gay, who, like, can't voice why they're supporting Hillary Clinton.
Most people can't voice why they're supporting any candidate.
Yeah, well, that's a problem.
But, excuse me, are you talking about the 2016 election?
I'm talking about specifically the 2016 election.
Then who else are they going to support?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, that's a problem. Look, to me, that's a problem. Like, if we're...
Yeah, it's a
we're
problem.
all just
No,
sort of
I get that we're a year and a half out. You got to pick from who the fuck has decided that they're crazy enough to run for president.
I think it's a problem that Democrats are just assuming Hillary Clinton should be the nominee.
Because
and then are falling in line behind her without even knowing what her positions are, without even knowing where she stands on things, without even knowing how she's articulated her positions.
But
to me, that's a problem.
She's ran before, so people know her positions.
Do they? Do they actually know her position? I actually would argue that a lot of people do not know her positions on a lot of things. Like, where does she stand on the Iran negotiations? Where does she stand on, like, domestic spying? Where does she stand on, like, a lot of these issues? I actually think that she's been really expert at avoiding answering these questions.
Well, her job was Secretary of State. She wasn't able to...
Okay, well, that's a very convenient excuse to say, like, she hasn't articulated reasons for, like, what her positions are. I actually would say that, like, a lot of people are supporting her candidacy without knowing where she actually sits on a lot of these things. And I think that that's a deficit not of Hillary Clinton, because, like, if you're a politician, yeah, you want to avoid saying where you are on a lot of these things.
You have to pick from who's crazy enough to run that.
Well...
You just do.
Okay, well, if it's between Hillary Clinton and Marco Rubio, I'm going to pick Hillary Clinton.
Right, but you can't tell me she wouldn't do a good job, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, that remains to be seen.
That's an insane proposition. To say to me that, like, oh, Hillary Clinton is going to do a better job than Marco Rubio, so we should vote for Hillary Clinton. We are over a year away from the election.
But JC, people didn't even know who Obama was when he first started running for president.
Yeah.
It was the way he spoke and related to people that won people over. We already know that she's got the experience, that she has the best relationships with people around the entire world out of any candidate. She's been in the game for a very long time.
Right.
So what I'm saying is...
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Where does she stand on the Iran negotiations?
I have no idea.
No idea. So, like, the most important foreign policy question of our day...
You can't do that 3 days into her campaign.
Fair, but, like, she literally has avoided articulating...
That's a legitimate question, and it's going to need to be asked at some point, but we're 3 days into her campaign.
Right, but we're also at a point where literally there is not another serious contender for the Democratic nomination, because she has positioned herself in such a way where she's scared everyone out of the race. So
you make it sound like she has total control of everything.
Right.
She 100% does.
Here's my thing. If I'm a Democrat with a whole lot of money, what they're going to do, kill me if I decide not to give her my money yet until I see who else is getting in? Exactly. So, like, it's up to these people, too. So it's not her fault that all the big money donors are just like sheep lining up behind her.
I'm not blaming her at all. I'm saying that voters have lined up behind her, very excited about her candidacy, for a lot of legitimate reasons.
What voters have done that? Who do you know?
Oh my god, I feel like...
You're acting as
every
if people
gay.
Every gay you know? I'm not excitedly lining up behind her candidacy.
I feel like I have been...
Of the 4 people who have declared on television, 3 of whom are Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and Rand Paul.
Right.
Yeah, I'm all about Hillary till I get somebody else who I like more.
Okay, well, look.
She can't just walk out there and position herself.
I would argue that she has spent the last several years positioning herself in this way.
Well, she ran for president already. People know who she is because of what she's done before.
She's worked very hard to be in the position she's in. That actually is...
But of course, delaying her announcement, like, all of that was very strategic.
That's all, to me, completely irrelevant to the fact that she is the de facto Democratic nominee for president without articulating specifically where she is in a lot of
That's the party's problem, baby. That's not her problem.
Yeah, I know it's the party's problem. And that's actually my problem, is the fact that, like, we've enabled this.
So the problem is not with Hillary Clinton, the problem is with the Democratic Party.
Fine. You can say it's a problem with the Democratic Party, that's fine. I actually think it's a cultural problem. That, like, we are nominating a person for president who has basically, like, not had to articulate a single controversial political position on anything.
But, like, this is a thing I'm going to remind you that this is a thing you're saying 3 days after she's announced.
I mean...
So, like...
formally announced. She's been the de facto nominee for how long?
I think we all agree on the fact that I'm a registered Democrat, I'll say it. I think we all agree that our party would benefit from a rigorous, spirited, competitive debate. If we let Hillary coast to the nomination, I'm gonna do an Ann Coulter quote right now. Ooh. If we don't run Chris Christie, then Romney will win the nomination and he'll lose. Remember that quote that Ann Coulter gave, and then it happened? My Ann Coulter quote is, if Hillary does not have a serious challenger, I need a Ted Kennedy 1980 challenger.
Yes.
I need a challenger who will go up against a sitting president. I mean, that's not going to be the case now, but whatever.
Yeah.
I need a candidate. I love you, Martin O'Malley. It can't be you.
Girl.
Like, it just can't be you.
Character.
Like, there is no Democrat I can point to who it can be. It could have been Brian Schweitzer for a minute, then he got too loose in the lips.
Which is a tribute to Hillary Clinton's effectiveness as a politician. Like, she's eliminated the field. She cleared the field.
But she
good for her.
Right, but like, she
works towards that.
It's not
last
okay.
time.
In 2000, right? I was just gonna say, in 2008, she was clearing the field until somebody named Barack Obama said, "No, you're not gonna do that, baby." so like, there needs to be a candidate like that who's like, "No, I'm actually gonna challenge you on this."
Well, who is that person? I don't know.
And I don't have big money donors, but like, I got people giving me $50 a pop.
That's pre-Citizens United. And I think that's actually a big deal. Like, I think that's a big deal. Like, pre-Citizens United. And I think that, like, here's my big thing. My big thing about all of this is that I think Democrats are taking for granted the efficacy of a Hillary Clinton candidacy and underestimating everyone on the Republican side. I think that there are
I was looking at demographics until Marco Rubio got in, and I was like, oh.
There are some
hold the phone, baby Jesus.
Like, we can all say, like, Ted Cruz is crazy, blah, blah, blah. He's a good politician. Marco Rubio is a good politician. Rand Paul, as crazy as he sounds sometimes, is
Rand Paul starts to say some shit that makes sense to me, and I get scared.
And I think that,
I just get frightened for my life.
And I think that Democrats, you are all sort of like rushing behind Hillary, and I get it.
Rushing.
Well,
no one is rushing.
We gotta move on. This could be a whole
I disagree with you 100%. I think that a lot of Democrats are rushing behind Hillary.
I think people are excited. I think people are excited about the idea of a female.
Well, that's the same thing that I'm saying. And I think that there's a danger in rushing behind Hillary and not recognizing how strong some of these Republican candidates are. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm interested in seeing is how the campaign's going to change this time around now that we're not so angry. We're not fighting for change. We're not angry with the last 8 years. We're maybe uncomfortable. We're not angry. And this campaigning is going to have to focus more on moving forward and building on what has...
Here's the thing. If we don't create a certain set of empirical circumstances in this country, it don't matter who we run on the Democratic side, we're going to have a Republican president. Mm-hmm. Because if you talk about 1988, which was the last time like a two-term president got replaced by a president from his own party, you got to have the sitting president have like a over 50% approval rating. You got to have the unemployment rate at like under 5%. You got to have like a perfect set of circumstances that let people know in the country, oh, we can stick with this party. Because, like, Americans are just like that. We like, ooh, what we've been doing for 8 years? Oh, we've been eating Chipotle? No, boo. I gotta switch over to Del Taco. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like, that's a thing which... I'm just going to say, if we have a Republican president in 2017, that's the exact switch we make. We've gone from Chipotle to Del Taco.
But I love Del Taco.
I know, but, like, do you love Chipotle more?
I love Chipotle more.
Exactly.
You know, I was noticing on Facebook a few of my friends were really angry about they got their penalty after
their health care penalty.
And they don't understand how much good the Affordable Care Act has done for people. All they see is this penalty. And so I'm wondering how Hillary is going to run, how she's going to speak to the young people who have been hurt by that. Well, they don't really understand it.
It's going to depend on the way the Supreme Court rules, isn't it?
Can we talk about that? If Hillary does not win, if a Republican gets in office, we have 4 Supreme Court justices who are on their way.
5.
Yeah.
But wait, on their way out?
Like death.
No. Like maybe like 2 that are on their way out.
Well, first of all, I'm just like, as much as I love RBG,
love her.
Love
she
RBG.
She should go home.
Like, she's 81 now, almost 82.
Go home. Go home.
She might actually be 82, depending on when her birthday is.
She's like me when I had too many vodka sodas at Mickey's.
Right.
Go home.
So if a Republican gets elected, that's 4 years. She'll be 86. Like, there's no way she's going to be 86 and on the Supreme Court. She's on her way out. Like, I don't understand why she doesn't pull a David Souter. Yeah, Souter.
Love
retired.
Miss Souter.
And Miss Kagan ain't going nowhere. Miss Sotomayor ain't
love
going
her.
nowhere.
You know I love Miss.
Like, Stephen Breyer could certainly
kick
leave
it
at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Get it?
No, I said kick it.
Oh.
I didn't say get it.
That's what I thought you said too. I was like,
But she
oh,
could get it. But she could get
really?
it. Yes.
I'm gonna need some people to message you.
Let's answer the question
She's
again.
my grinder.
If Hillary gets the nomination, which we all think she will you bottom for her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There is no conceivable Republican.
I
who
will
would vote
bottom,
for
but I will
other than
insist
her.
on a condom.
That's fair. That's really fair.
I think you need protection.
She got to wrap it up.
Yeah, she does.
We don't know where Bill been.
Girl, I don't trust none of it.
Okay, so we have to recommend some stuff on our podcast.
Endorsements.
Some endorsements before we end tonight. I have two things to recommend because I never recommended anything on the last podcast. First of all, y'all hear this new Jordan Sparks song?
Oh, Double Tap.
Hot.
Yeah. I just heard it for the first time a few hours ago.
I thought Jordan Sparks was dead.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm with it.
It's so good.
No.
Why do you think she's dead?
No, it's a club anthem. You'll be face down, ass up.
Yep.
You will be.
It reminds me of some like 90s.
Right?
Yeah.
Some like Sierra.
Yeah.
Sierra would have been like Double Tap.
I'm actually recommending three things. All Hands on Deck.
Yes, the Tinashe video.
Yeah,
Tinashe is giving me Ciara.
No, Tinashe will get
Brandy,
you your life.
And Maya all in one video.
If you've never had your life, email Tinashe. Because she'll get it to you.
That would actually be my recommendation.
Yeah, she'll FedEx you your life.
If you haven't seen the Tinashe video,
no, you're gonna get it
right now.
You're gonna get your life.
That's the recommendation.
You're gonna get your life.
It's so good.
You're gonna get your life.
It's so good.
And then my other recommendation, because I've shown this to every single friend of mine that I know.
What?
I am obsessed with this one comedian who I went to Williamstown with back in the day. His name is Gabe Liedemann. He works on a few shows.
Kroll Show.
Yeah, Kroll Show. He's been on Looking. He is hilarious. And he has this one specific video on YouTube that I've probably watched 50 times, sharing it with everyone. It's, you just type in Gabe Liedemann, GabeLiedeman, and it's probably the first thing that pops up. It's his Story League stand-up, and basically it's about the most awkward date you've ever been on, so I'll just leave you with that. It's hilarious. You guys have seen it, right?
So good. It's one of the best stand-up routines I've ever seen.
Go watch it. Josh, do you have any recommendations, any endorsements?
Hobson. He's a rapper. He's about to turn 30. He's on YouTube. He makes videos for like $1.50 and a pack of cigarettes, which basically is $100 at this point. But Hobson, Hopsin. Do yourself a favor and just Google those 6 letters. Hopsin, Hobson, and get your life.
Okay, so how about that Tennessee Williams quote?
Oh, I got that. Don't even worry about it. There comes a time when you look into the mirror and you realize that what you see is all that you will ever be. And then you accept it. Or you kill yourself. Or you stop looking in mirrors. Isn't that so good?
That's so good.
That's so good. That's Tennessee Williams.
Point.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our 3rd episode of Wigless and Crying. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to tweet in your topic suggestions to @WiglessCrying, or you could also message us on Facebook. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
You gotta let me know that you won't double tap that hoe.